In this eye-popping video, you'll learn the real reason you have diabetes and what you can do about it. Attack diabetes at its source without swallowing dangerous drugs. Never poke or prick yourself with glucose meters or insulin ever again. Completely reverse, not just treat type 2 diabetes in 28 days or less using 3 dead simple steps. Put simply, heal your type 2 diabetes for good. Because let's face it, if you're watching this, then you're probably already up to your eyeballs with diabetes information. The problem is, you don't know what to make of it. With thousands of books, articles, and online programs out there, there's no shortage of information. Just a shortage of good information. Keep watching, because I'm going to cut out the fat and give you the only diabetes information you'll ever need. For example, what does and doesn't cause type 2 diabetes? I know what you're thinking. You think I'm going to tell you that diabetes is part of some giant conspiracy concocted in a dimly lit back room with Big Pharma, the FDA, and your doctor all sitting at the table. Let me tell you, I've seen those crazy books and online programs for sale myself. If there's anyone who should be investigated, it's the nuts who sell a product just to tell you how gullible you are. While there's definitely some shady stuff going on with diabetes treatments, let's start with some cold hard truths about type 2 diabetes. I hope this will put some of the crazy talk out there to rest. Truth number 1. Doctors are not evil masterminds. Sure, they wear lab coats, but they don't plot night and day to make sure you have diabetes forever. Doctors aren't wicked. Many of them are just horribly misguided and way too medication-oriented. Truth number 2. Pharmaceutical companies aren't out to murder people. Let's get something straight. Drug companies may or may not want you to get better, but they don't want to kill you. They're a business like any other, and they need sick customers to keep their profits growing. So they don't want you dead. Truth number 3. You have not been 100% wrong about your type 2 diabetes. You probably have a good handle on the basics, but you're most likely a little confused by the misinformation floating around. I'm here to fill in the gaps, not tell you what you already know. Truth number 4. Type 2 diabetes is not your fault. It probably seems like there's a line of people waiting to tell you exactly what you've done wrong. Not me. I realize that type 2 diabetes isn't something you get from being bad. It's a result of listening to the wrong people, and type 1 is clearly genetic. Now that we've got that out of the way, we can start getting to the good stuff. That is, why you have diabetes and how you can get rid of it. 4 huge 21st century diabetes discoveries that your doctor may have no clue about. Number 1. Weight loss does not cure type 2 diabetes. From the day you've been told you have diabetes, everyone from your doctor to your friend's dog has been squawking at you with the same tired message. Lose weight, lose weight, lose weight. It probably sounds like they're reading from a script. Well, guess what? Dropping a few pounds isn't going to hurt. It's actually very helpful, but it's no cure. Research shows that the foods you eat make or break diabetes, but calories and pounds aren't all they're cracked up to be. Number 2. Type 2 diabetes is not a life sentence. Whenever I hear doctors talk about diabetes, they drone on non-stop about diabetes treatment, diabetes management, and diabetic control. Sadly, you'd be hard-pressed to find a doctor use the word cure. Based on the last decade of research, it's clear that type 2 diabetes is a 100% curable condition. The reason that most people are stuck with diabetes for their whole lives is that they rely on nasty drugs, way off diets, and impossible-to-follow exercise programs. Number 3. The American Diabetes Association, ADA, diet may make diabetes worse. There's one thing almost everyone can agree on. Diet is the diabetes make or break factor. Diet can cause, and as I am about to show you, completely cure type 2 diabetes. Unfortunately, the ADA doesn't seem interested in putting together a diet-based cure for diabetes. That's why they allow foods like high fructose corn syrup, Snickers bars, and even lard. Number 4. The current line of treatments flat out don't work to cure diabetes. Your doctor may claim that there's scientific evidence for the drug he gave you. The question you need to ask him or her, and yourself, is, if these treatments are so great, why does everyone and their brother have diabetes? Consider this. Over 29 million, almost 10% of people in the USA alone, suffer from type 2 diabetes. A staggering 86 million Americans have pre-diabetes, more than 3 times the amount of full-blown diabetics. Americans spend 218 billion, yes billions, treating diabetes every year, and it's estimated that this amount will double every 25 years. And this is a worldwide phenomenon. With a few exceptions, every Western country in the world has similar stats. Does this sound like modern medicine is making progress? Not to me. Diabetes is a symptom and a disease. Believe it or not, when you stick your finger with a glucometer and you get a blood sugar reading of, let's say, 250, it's not because you have diabetes. That's right. Plenty of people without diabetes walk around with high blood sugar all the time. How can this be? It all comes down to a single word: inflammation. You read that right. Inflammation is the root cause of type 2 diabetes. It's the inflammation that makes your cells ignore insulin, also known as insulin resistance. It's inflammation that makes your pancreas shrivel up and die. Therefore, it's the inflammation that's causing your type 2 diabetes. What the heck is inflammation? That's a great question. I know, I just dropped a bombshell on you. So let me tell you a bit more about this downright deadly phenomenon. Have you ever stubbed your toe and it swelled up like a helium balloon? That's inflammation at work. Inflammation is just your body's way of treating sickness, infection, or injury. That's healthy. The problem arises when you suffer what's called chronic inflammation, where the inflammation process continues long after any healing process is completed. With chronic inflammation, your body in essence attacks itself. How does this happen? You see, when you eat the wrong foods, your body goes into full-fledged attack mode and treats the toxins you just ate as foreign invaders. And if you keep eating the wrong foods, even those that you think are healthy, the inflammation fire rages higher and higher until your body is in crisis. It's no wonder that Time magazine recently chose to put inflammation as its cover story. It's just that important. The only way to get inflammation under control is to knock out the toxic foods from your diet. Once that's done, you need to start adding anti-inflammatory foods that are like ice-cold water on a flame. Then and only then can your body bounce back, repair, and do the internal renovations that completely reverses type 2 diabetes. What I discovered in my diabetic research was that only minor diet and lifestyle changes can reverse the inflammation and get type 2 diabetes under control. So I created a 3-step system to completely reverse blood sugar level and inflammation using these minor changes. This is extremely simple. But more on that later. First, let me explain a very important point. One of the worst things you can do is take a bunch of diabetes medications. It might be hard to admit, but you probably already know that these meds do much more harm than good. This is not to say you shouldn't listen to your doctor. You definitely should follow his or her guidance. But be careful, do your own research, and seek a doctor who is open for natural approaches. You see, just because the meds put a cap on your blood sugar doesn't mean your diabetes is getting any better. Truth be told, these same meds make inflammation skyrocket. Pills are not going to do anything but treat the symptoms, and in the long run, they'll make your problem worse. How do I know? Glad you asked. Because by now, you've figured out that I have some inside information, but you're probably asking yourself, who the heck are you? Oh, how rude. I was so excited to tell you all this, I forgot to introduce myself. Hi, my name is Jody Knapp. I used to work as a nurse at one of the biggest, most advantaged hospitals in Chicago. I can't describe all the horror and despair I witnessed throughout the years. But nothing, and I mean nothing, could prepare me for the moment that I became obsessed with finding a simple, step-by-step diabetes cure. It was Christmas Day, and, like yours, my family spent the day gorging us on every delectable treat on the dinner table. Suddenly, our laughs turned to shrieks as we watched my mother pass out. I instantly called 911 and the paramedics rushed to save my mother's life. Even though she hadn't been officially diagnosed with diabetes, she had blood sugar of 651. That's when I knew that I couldn't let that horrifying incident happen ever again. I set out to find every book, journal article, and diabetes expert on God's green earth. It wasn't easy to find reliable facts on the subject. There is so much contradicting information out there that often makes no sense. My mother honestly went through hell a few times trying things that not only didn't help her, but made her problem worse. But to this day, years after I found the solution, I'm still shocked when I think about how easy type 2 diabetes is to get rid of and how few people know how to do it. Because treating diabetes is so 1995. A number of scientific breakthroughs, like the one that pinned type 2 diabetes on inflammation, have turned the tables on diabetes. For the first time in history, the new goal is to not just treat, but completely eliminate type 2 diabetes. Seriously, think about this for a moment. This means that you can live a fun and fulfilling life 100% diabetes-free. How's my mom doing? Thank you for asking. After months of relentless research, I finally devised a simple 3-step system that was both effective and practical. I would never have been able to do this if I didn't have access to the doctors and the library of one of the best university hospitals in the world. Once I put my final program to paper, I jumped in my car and sped to my mom's house to give her the big news. Just a few weeks after following my system, she completely transformed. What was once an old-looking, frail, and beaten-down diabetic became a youthful, vibrant, and hopeful woman. Her life took a complete 180. After seeing these remarkable results firsthand, I knew I had to get the word out. It seemed like I couldn't go a single day without running into someone with out-of-control type 2 diabetes who had no clue what to do about it. It wasn't fair that I knew the secret to beat diabetes and the people who needed it most didn't. It was driving me crazy. Don't treat diabetes, beat it. My mom and I put our heads together, refined my already effective system, and added new scientific natural treatments. This updated system is even more effective and easier to follow. That program is now available to you. Introducing the Blue Heron Guide to Beat Diabetes, the proven natural way to completely reverse type 2. What's even more important than what you get is what you learn, because after putting just a few of the principles of this cutting-edge system into practice, you'll never have to refer to yourself as a diabetic again. Toss your diabetes meds out the window with your doctor's blessing because you won't need them anymore. Eat the foods you love and still burn fat. Watch your blood sugars fall into place like a stack of dominoes. Stop worrying about diabetic complications like nerve problems, lost toes is too common for diabetics, eyesight problems, and heart attacks. Here's just a small sample of the mind-blowing secrets Beat Diabetes will unveil. How type 2 diabetes went from a rare condition to a full-blown worldwide pandemic. How you can stop pre-diabetes in its tracks and not become another diabetes statistic. The 8 signs of type 2 diabetes you need to know. This could save your life. The truth about carbohydrates. No, you don't have to deprive yourself of all the tasty foods you love. The best and worst times to check your blood sugar and why the numbers can lead you astray. The at-home test for Syndrome X, a silent killer that 1/4 of the country has. Most people have no idea. How to tap into the power of your brain to completely reverse type 2 diabetes. The astounding truth about losing weight and managing diabetes. Hint, it's a lot different than you probably think. the right way and wrong way to cut out bad carbs from your diet, and how to add delicious alternatives. The Italian diet secret that keeps a huge part of the population diabetes-proof. The stunning research that shows how you cook your food has more to do with high blood sugar than the food itself. This has nothing to do with baking versus frying. Think those are good? Here are even more top-notch tips you'll find in Beat Diabetes. The magic number of carbs you need to eat to have a chance against diabetes. 3 little-known superfoods that fight diabetes at its weakest point. 13 mouth-watering ways to liven up any dish without adding sugar or calories. The 4 low-carb fruits that barely budge blood sugar. 2 delicious foods, one 100% fat and another almost 100% sugar, yet they both have been shown in clinical research to boost natural insulin production. Tantalizing low-carb recipes that stimulate your taste buds and your pancreas. 50 danger foods that you must avoid to get your body diabetes-free. Warning, many of these are considered healthy, but they aren't. The remarkable trick that lets you add your favorite foods, even sugary ones, back into your diet. Hint, the secret's in the timing. The $2.49 supermarket item that instantly lowers the glycemic index of every food in your kitchen. 15 super supplements that are backed by university research as safe and effective, even more so than most diabetes meds. And much, much more. But the most important part is, this simple 3-step approach totally reverses type 2 diabetes in 28 days or less. I'll take you by your hand and lead you through the next 4 weeks, just like I did with my mother. Everything is spelled out in plain English, so it's all easy to understand and follow. I'll break things down on a week-to-week basis for you into 3 simple steps. Step 1. Cutting out all foods that are causing your chronic inflammation, spike in blood sugar, and type 2 diabetes. This is the most painful part. There are literally thousands of books out there about what not to eat if you have type 2 diabetes. Based on my research, most of them are dead wrong. I'll lead you through this step the way it worked for my mother and thousands of readers, so you can be sure it will work for you, too. Step 2. Reintroduce most of the food you love, but do so in a way that it doesn't trigger inflammation and a rise in blood sugar levels. Most guides on type 2 diabetes get stuck in step 1. They tell you what to cut out of your diet, and since their directions are usually pretty drastic, nobody can follow it for long. What I discovered, however, in my quest was very uplifting. You see, after my mother's blood sugar level and inflammation cooled down, she could add back in most of the food she loved. This is not difficult, but it has to be done in the right way or everything you've achieved will be gone. That's exactly what I'll teach you to do in Step 2. Step 3. Continues Plan, where you can enjoy great foods and have a fantastic life diabetes-free. You should be able to go to a dinner party and eat at your favorite restaurant even if you used to suffer from diabetes. In Step 3, I want you to think of yourself as an ex-diabetic. If you catch a flu, you may decide to stay inside for a day. But a week after you recover, you're not going to stay inside just because you used to have the flu. This is the fundamental difference between the traditional methods of treating diabetes and what I consider curing type 2 diabetes. Of course, you want to be conscious to not catch diabetes again. That's why I'll teach you about herbs and supplements, as well as easy diet and lifestyle changes that prevent type 2 diabetes in Step 3. This is where my mother is now, and that's where I want you to be within 4 weeks. It's time to get serious. You've seen the evidence, and you know my simple 3-step system can change your life. If you're serious about not just dealing with, but completely overcoming your diabetes, then you need to get my system right now. Don't let diabetes hijack your life for one more day. How much is this going to cost? Look, I'll level with you. I don't write this system to get on talk shows and become a millionaire. I wrote Beat Diabetes because I wanted to help people just like you. I don't want to see you end up like my dear mother a year ago, passed out on the floor, carried off into an ambulance. I don't want you to lose a limb, your eyesight, or other bodily functions. Diabetes has now even been found to cause Alzheimer's, the one disease all of us fear. Instead, I want to see you like my mother is today, free of diabetes, happy and full of energy. The fact is that the medical cost for each type 2 diabetes patient is more than $10,000 per year. Every doctor's visit runs from $60 to $150 or more. That's probably over $1,000 a month just going to your regular doctor. If you take dietary guidance, acupuncture, or any other more natural approach, that's $100 here and $100 there each time. You know what I'm talking about. Maybe your insurance pays for some of this, maybe it doesn't. But like I said, we're not in this for the money. All we need is to cover the basic cost of promoting and running this website, so you and other people suffering can find us and benefit from our knowledge. So you're not going to have to pay $10,000, $1,000, or even $100 for this complete system to reverse your type 2 diabetes. Why? Because today I'm offering Beat Diabetes at the lowest price possible. It costs a lot to run a website and operation like this one, and the Beat Diabetes system has become so popular that I had to quit my job at the hospital to manage this. I just want to make sure that everyone benefits as greatly as possible. Therefore, unfortunately, soon we'll be forced to raise this to a much more reasonable price. Like your diabetes, my program's low price won't last. I'd hate to see you return here tomorrow or the day after and have to pay maybe twice as much for the system. It's better to order it now, and if you change your mind later, just ask for your money back. Nobody will blame you. That way, you're sure to get your solution for the lowest price possible, rather than regretting it later. So click the order button below now to get the lowest price possible before it goes up. And you're not risking anything because of our 60 days, no questions asked, 100% money back guarantee. My number one goal is to get you diabetes free with these dead simple steps that you can start today. The thing is, I don't want a penny of your money if my system doesn't completely overhaul your life for the better. Not happy? No problem. If for any reason, or no reason at all, you don't think that Beat Diabetes is the best, most comprehensive guide on the planet, just shoot me a quick email message and you'll have every dollar of your money back within 24 hours, usually even sooner. You can get your refund today or anytime within 60 days of ordering. I hope this takes the pressure off of your decision and eases your mind about trying my risk-free system. That's how much I trust my proven system, and that's how much I want you to feel better. Have a question? We're happy to help. One of the reasons I decided to publish my program through Blue Heron Health News, a global leader in natural health cures information, is that their customer service team is phenomenal. Any issue, concern, or problem you have will be addressed with the utmost care. Unlike any other program out there, you won't have to go it alone. This is not a decision to put off until tomorrow. The fact that you're still watching means you may want to think about it. When buying a house or a car, that may be the smart way to go, but not here. My system can get you on the road to recovery within minutes of accessing it. Plus, because the risk is all mine, you have nothing to lose by clicking on the order button below and giving it a shot.